If you're scrolling through endless laptop listings, wondering whether you're about to pour money into a machine that will sit on a desk gathering dust, I get it. You've probably had that moment where you think, do I really need a 16-inch touchscreen business laptop with a fancy Intel Ultra processor, or am I just chasing hype? The fear of buying the wrong thing is real, especially when you're budgeting for a device that's supposed to handle both work tasks and the occasional gaming session. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this review, I'm going to break down exactly who can get the most out of the Lenovo ThinkPad L16, where it falls short, and whether it's worth the price tag for your particular use case. First, let's talk about the kind of person who might consider the L16. If you're a professional who spends a lot of time in Microsoft Office, runs data-heavy spreadsheets, or does light video editing on the side, the 16GB of DDR5 RAM and speedy PCIe SSD will feel responsive. The Windows 11 Pro environment adds a layer of IT management tools that many business users appreciate, especially if your company mandates BitLocker encryption or remote desktop capabilities. The backlit keyboard is a plus for late-night work sessions, and the HDR webcam gives a decent video call experience without the awkward grainy look you get on cheap integrated cameras. Now, if you're looking for a dedicated gaming machine, you should pause. The L16 runs on an Intel Core Ultra 5225U, which is a low-power chip designed for AI-accelerated workloads and efficiency, not for pushing high frame rates in modern titles. In practice, you'll see it handle older games or indie titles at modest settings. But if your main goal is 1080p gaming at 60 frames per second, you'll quickly feel constrained. The laptop does have Thunderbolt 4, which theoretically lets you attach an external GPU, but that adds more cost and reduces the portability advantage you originally bought the laptop for. Heat and fan noise are another common concern for users who try to blend work and play on one device. In my testing, the L16's fan stayed relatively quiet during everyday tasks, browsing, document editing, even when streaming a 1080p video. The fans kicked in when I opened a few resource-heavy browser tabs, and when I ran a short benchmark on the AI features, you could hear a low whir, but it never rose to a level that would be distracting in a quiet office. However, during sustained gaming sessions the fan ramped up noticeably, and after about 15 minutes of continuous load the laptop felt warm to the touch around the chassis edges. That's typical for a thin business laptop, but it's worth noting if you plan on playing long-haul sessions. Portability is where the L16 actually shines. At 16 inches, the screen size feels generous for multitasking, yet the device still fits into a standard backpack without causing an awkward bulge. The touchscreen is IPS and offers a bright, color-accurate display, great for reviewing presentations or annotating documents with a stylus. The touch capability isn't a game changer for most professionals, but it does add a layer of flexibility that you won't find on many standard business laptops. Battery life is decent. Under a typical office day of email, web browsing, and occasional video calls, I got around 8 hours of use. When you start tapping into the higher performance AI features or using the external display through Thunderbolt, the runtime drops to around 5 hours, which is still acceptable for a half-day of intensive work. One practical strength I've seen people appreciate is the connectivity suite. The L16 includes Wi-Fi 6E, which provides a smoother, lower latency experience on newer routers, useful if your office has a modern network setup. The inclusion of multiple USB-C ports with Thunderbolt 4 means you can daisy-chain an external monitor, a docking station, and fast storage all at once, effectively turning this laptop into a hub for a minimalist desk. That kind of flexibility can replace a whole set of peripherals if you're working from home or traveling frequently. On the flip side, the laptop's price can feel a bit steep compared to other options that target the same audience. You'll find 15-inch business laptops with similar specifications for less, albeit without the premium ThinkPad branding or the same level of keyboard comfort. The trade-off here is essentially paying for the ThinkPad reputation, reliable durability, a tactile keyboard, and the promise of longer support cycles. If those brand assurances matter to you, the extra cost may be justified. If you're just after raw specs, you might find a better value elsewhere. Who should skip the L16? If you're a gamer who expects to crank AAA titles at high settings, Or if you're a content creator who relies heavily on GPU-accelerated rendering, this isn't the machine for you. The ultra-low power processor and integrated graphics are simply not built for that workload. Likewise, if you're a minimalist who prefers a 13-inch ultra-portable you can slip into a jacket pocket, the 16-inch chassis could feel cumbersome. Who should buy it? Professionals who need a reliable, well-supported laptop that can handle day-to-day business.